Dennis here at Cappel Training and Shoeing. This is a Mustang that I showed in Fort Worth at a Mustang makeover in 17, I believe. And anyway, this horse has got quite a story. He's actually got his own book, and this is the one we call Brilliant Attitude. And you can, I think you'd really enjoy getting that book and reading along and following his story. But it was quite a journey, and there were some times of trauma during the training period that are still carrying over with him today. Since I brought him back from the makeover, he's basically been turned out and has basically returned to being like he was in the wild. We've got another horse that came in with him, and they run out together, and we don't ask anything of them. But we're getting ready to start doing some roping, and I thought Brilliant Attitude looked like he might be a pretty good roping horse, so I thought it would be time to bring him back into training. This horse got scared down there in the finals at the makeover. I was out in the arena, you know, doing what we were doing, and he happened to look up at the TV screen, and he didn't have any idea what it was, but he saw a horse running up there on that TV screen. He didn't know it was his own picture. Doesn't matter anyway. But anyway, he got scared, and really scared. And this horse has always been really troubled about anything down there around his feet. So I thought it would be interesting for you to watch here and how I'm going to start this horse basically over again. But I'm going to go ahead and address his feet issue here. I've got a bag tied onto a stick here, and you can tell he's looking at it right now. That's what he's snorting about. You see, you think there ain't some trauma in there. You can't create that. That's a normal reaction from a horse that is ready to vaminos the scene. So I'm gonna let him see this thing, and I'm gonna let him follow it. That's about how fearful he was out in the finals, and you wouldn't even think you'd be able to ride a horse that fearful. As I move this sack and he gets to follow it, you'll see him start to settle out there. You'll see his confidence start to come up. I'm going to ask him to move his feet towards it again. Nice. Let him just have a second out there to think about what's going on. See, it's things like this that I found a lot of times the Mustangs especially have a lot of trauma wrapped around things on the ground. Another interesting thing about these horses I've noticed is in our domestic horses, when a helicopter goes over, they don't pay any attention at all. But when a helicopter comes over and these horses are there, I mean, they will watch it as soon as it gets in sight, and they will watch that thing until it gets completely out of sight. And I think the gathering process sometimes, who knows why or what, but it left an impression on these horses, just like this bag has left an impression on him. You see, there's no need for him to be afraid of this thing. He's never been hurt by it, you know, but you can tell inside that he's just not feeling very well. I mean, he's pretty scared. So I'm going to let him just have a minute there and let him think. Let him think what's going on. Move it again. There we go. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. I'm going to take it over this way. There's no rhyme or reason in how I'm moving this thing or why I'm moving it. I'm just watching his response. Now he handled that pretty nicely because that thing was coming at him. So because of that, I'm going to move it away from him. You see, when you take an object away from a horse that's just troubled, they can kind of handle that. But when it's coming at them, That's all, oftentimes more than they can handle. He's coming at him. He can't quite make that trip, so we'll take it away again. I'm going to let him follow it here as we're going along. See him looking at that pole on the ground. Anything on the ground, has this horse awfully cautious. Like something's going to reach up and get a hold of him. I'm going to ask him to just go ahead and side pass across that pole. Very nice. Let's come back up here on the other side of it and do that again. See how he's picking those feet up and setting them down? You think they don't know where every foot is and what's underneath every foot? I mean, these horses are keen on that. And they'll stick one right in the top of your head if you're not careful. That's pure, raw self-preservation that you're seeing in this horse right here. I'd like for him to step across that pole when he comes up to it. So what is the pole doing? The pole is offering a bit of distraction. It's so that all of his attention is not focused on this terrible bag here on the ground, giving him something else to think about. Let him come up here. You see, there was no accident that he touched that pole. Let him sit there a minute. It's okay. All right. I want him to be able to experience that pressure. I want him to be able to move during the pressure. I want him to feel like he can move away from the pressure if he needs to. I want him to be able to move his feet and remain. Just let him have a minute here with that. Pretty nice. What was nice is he didn't feel like he just had to, really grab himself and leave. It's also nice that he's standing there parallel to it instead of being faced up. You see, being faced up right here would be a classic, really a defensive posture. He's not defensive to it. He's just sitting there, and thinking, I can run away from this thing anytime I want to, and because I can, perhaps I can relax a little bit. I don't know if that's what he's thinking, but that's what is going to happen. If I try to hold him there, he couldn't relax a bit, but I'm not holding him there. He can leave anytime he wants to. Let's move it over here. Let's take it away. Very nice. I'm going to leave this thing here. I'm going to perch it up here, and I'm going to go to him myself. Now, the reason that I wanted to come to him is to reassure him that I'm here as a friend. I'm not here to get him in any more trouble. I'm here to help him to get out of some trouble. I'm going to send him over there by that pole on the ground here this time. Send him over there and have him crawl up onto that pole, side pass across it. I want him to go away from me. I don't want him to come to me just yet. I want him going away. When I'm ready for him to come to me, I'll tell him, but I haven't told him yet. He's just finding his way through right here. I'm gonna let him stand there and get okay right here for a minute. All right. Let's go across that pole. Go across that pole. Just stop right there. Now let's come back across that pole this way. Now let's crawl back up onto that pole. What's the big deal about going sideways across the pole? It's an opportunity, strictly an opportunity. There's no significance in this other than this horse is feeling the pressure from that pole. I've asked him to move his feet. He's moving his feet at my suggestion. He's not trying to just run away from it. He's listening to me. As he's listening to me, I'm showing him that, look, you listen to me, I'll keep you safe. You listen to me, I'll keep you safe. Okay? Now I'm going to go back over here and pick this bag up. And he said, not the bag again. Can't we do anything other than that bag? The pole, you want to go across the pole? Yeah, come on. Let's see if we can't get up here. I'm gonna lay this pole, this bag out here, and I'm gonna just put it down on the ground. Leave it right there. And I'm gonna just send him around it. It's my plan to send him around it. He might not let me. See, when I'm standing between him and that thing, see how much better he could accept it? Because I'm protecting him from it. Made it through, nothing happened. Let's turn back and see if we can go through in the other direction. I might have to get between him and that bag on the other side this way. I don't know. I asked him to go through this way, and there's a try. Gotta be careful here because I'm pretty close to that bag, and if he all of a sudden quits watching me and looks down there, he's liable to go to striking at it. So I don't want to be in striking distance here. There. What happened when I said there was he moved his shoulders to the left just about 4 inches. Well, why does that make a difference? Well, he was bracing on his shoulder out to the right. When I asked him to move, he stayed braced on the shoulder, braced on the shoulder, braced on the shoulder, and then he finally yielded. So that's why I said there. Braced on that shoulder to the right. Now he stepped over to the left. I'm just lightly tapping him on the shoulder here, behind the shoulder, just a little bit, as if I was on him, I would be using my right leg here and asking him to look off. See, I'm getting between him and that bag. He's going to be able to make it. Now that I'm between him and that bag, you see he was able to let loose. Wow, that bag all of a sudden came out from behind me. He thought, let's see if we can make it through there. Get his feet moving, see if he can handle that a little better. Get his feet moving. Come on. Move your feet. Move your feet. Come on. I'm putting a little more effort into sending him through because his self-preservation was blocking his feet so much that he wasn't listening to me. And I'd like for him to lay down this self-preserving instinct a little bit and let me have say on what's going on. Step up there. It's not the first time this horse has been handled, of course, but it is the first time in quite some time. You can tell he's fatter than a tick, and a horse in this body condition is going to be a little more hyper about things than one. That was nice. Now let's change direction, come back through here. I'm going to send him with a little more authority and then get them feet moving there a little bit. I'm bringing the energy up on purpose to expose him to some change in that energy. See him hide out in something that he thinks was a good thing to do there. The more side passing that pole looks like a pretty good thing to do now. Come on. Come on. Come on. Touch the handle. Had to jump over it, but he was able to handle it. I knew he was going to. There was no accident that he touched that handle. I guarantee you that horse knows where his feet are. He saw that thing laying there and he wanted to touch it. And he says he can't make it through because that thing moved last time I came through. I want him to turn towards it right here. And I'm going to pick this thing up. I'm not talking on purpose. I am talking while I'm not talking. When I had that thing up there and he was at that brink of, can I stay here or am I going to have to flee? My voice, well, I feel like, would have been too much distraction, too much, and he might have had to leave. So I let him process it. He let me touch him with it. I've taken it away, and I'm reassuring him here that everything's okay. Everything's okay. So I'm gonna back up and just do that again. Back up and do that again. Be careful that I don't have my feet wrapped up in that lead rope. I really like that he was able to move his feet with that thing touching him, and he didn't just lose self-control. He moved his feet. I'm waiting on his eyes to soften here just a little bit, get a little more comfortable. Move that just a little bit. Let him hold that flag, hold that bag. Pretty nice. I'm gonna see if I can get it done on the other side. This side wasn't too terribly bad. Let's see if we can do the same thing on the other side. You might see a change when it crosses over from his left eye to his right eye. I don't know. Letting him hear me exhale. Take it away. Bring that back around. Sure got to be careful right there, because if you're out in front of them when they're looking back, sometimes they'll just bolt and run right over you, because this thing's, in their opinion, chasing them. I want him to get comfortable with it with his feet moving. I'm careful not to put it on that other side just yet. See, when it gets down there around his feet, we still got lots and lots of anxiety about that. But as he accepts it more, I'm able to move it a little more. Now, for those of you that have been watching a lot of our videos, you've noticed that I don't do a lot of desensitizing. And the reason being is because over desensitization kind of numbs a horse to proper response. So I feel like I've got to help this horse by desensitizing him, because he's so fearful that he just thought he had to leave. So desensitizing at this point is going to help, but I'm gonna watch, and I'm going to keep a keen eye on when he gets where he just locks up and just kind of goes into another world because of the desensitization. It's time to quit that desensitizing. So I'm not going to do this every time I get a hold of this horse. I'm only doing this now. Doesn't he look a lot more comfortable now than he did when I first started? So to me, in this work, this is a good place to quit. rather than just wearing him out with something, I approached it. He was able to, while this thing was in his presence, he was able to hit a state of mind that is far from where it needs to be, but it's a lot better than it was. So that progress is going to be something to build on, So I'm sure we'll have some more of these films on this horse down the road, but this is the very beginning of sort of a retraining program of a horse that had some psychological issues with things around his feet and objects moving towards him. So if you like these videos, I would really appreciate it if you'd hit subscribe, and better yet, if you'd share them with your friends. I really appreciate that as well, and thanks for being with us.